ॐ नमो अरिहन्तानम् ॐ नमो सिद्धानम् ॐ नमो आयर्यानम् ॐ नमो वज्रायानम् नमो लोये सवसाहुनम् एसो पञ्च नमोकारो एसो पञ्च नमोकारो सौवपावपनासनो मङ्गलानञ्च सौवेसिं पढमं हवै मङ्गलं मङ्गलानञ्च सौवेसिं पढमं हवै मङ्गलम्. I bow down in the feet of Tirthankar Paramatma Prabhu Mahaveer. I bow down in the feet of most revered Pujya Gurudev Anand Rishi Maharaj Sahib and infinitely benevolent Upadhyay Bhagwan Pujya Praveen Rishi Maharaj Sahib. इच्छा कारणम संधिसह भगवम इच्छा कारणम संधिसह भगवम. My immense gratitude to the holy feet of Paramatma, Gurudev and Upadhyay Bhagwan for showering his grace to be an instrument in delivering the Uttaradhyayan in English. Aram afternoon everyone. I Sadhvi Arohi. Welcome the devotees gathered here to listen to the sacred techniques of the 24th Tirthankar, Paramatma Mahaveer, and to participate in worshipping the Srimad Uttaradhyayana Sutra. This sutra holds great significance as it contains the last words of Paramatma Mahaveer before his salvation. I would be presenting the English version of Gurudev Sri Praveen Rishi Maharaj Sahib discourse on the Srimad Uttaradhyayan. Today is the 5th day of our humble effort. We will try to understand and absorb the secrets of chapter 8 and 9 as decoded by Gurudev Sri. Before we begin the journey, let us visualize. Please close your eyes. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Again inhale deeply and exhale slowly. Visualize ourselves entering the divine assembly known as the Samosharan, established by celestial beings. This grand circular structure has doors facing all 4 directions. The first enclosure is made of shimmering silver with golden archways at each entrance, where the deities Jaidev and Vijayadev warmly welcome the devotees. The steps that lead to Paramatma are made of crystal. Visualize yourself slowly ascending to the second enclosure made of gold, the archways of which are adorned with precious gems. As you continue along the crystal path, you arrive at the third enclosure of radiant gems, the archways of which are crafted with precious gem called the Vedya Maniratna. In the central part, seated on a crystal throne at the top is Paramatma Mahaveer, below the huge Ashoka tree, which is 12 times above his height, with Chamrendra and Balendra fanning Paramatma with the royal fans called the charmers. The deities of the heaven are offering their respects, and the Shraman and Shramanis engage in worship. As you behold the divine aura of Paramatma, bow at his feet in complete devotion and feel his blessings being showered on you. Take permission from Paramatma to listen to his words and take your seat in his presence. Open your eyes. As every being awakens to the curiosity about Paramatma Mahaveer, who imparts the unparalleled techniques of the highest dharma, which is beneficial for all and brings peace to the world, you too awaken the curiosity within you, like the devotees who express their request at the feet of Sudharma Swami. Feel this essence of devotion in the words of Sudharma Swami. For Prakrut verses of Uttaradhyayana Sutra, follow the link in the description box for a rendition of Veer Stuti and Prakrut verses of Uttaradhyayana Sutra. Namo Suyadevayaye, Namo Suyadevayaye, Namo Suyadevayaye. The chapter title Kavilium is about a person named Kapil and how he motivates and leads his 500 friends on the path of divinity. Before we hear how Kapil motivated them, let's hear the story of Kapil, how he attained divinity. In the city of Kaushambi, there was a royal priest who rode his horse with great honor to the royal court. The priest had a young son named Kapil. After the priest passed away, Kapil was too young and inexperienced to take his father's place. So a new priest was appointed. This new priest would ride past Kapil's house every day, reminding Kapil's mother of her late husband, which made her sad. She wished that Kapil could become a royal priest and ride that horse like his father did. Kapil saw his mother crying and promised her that he would study hard and become wise and fulfill her dream. His mother told him that the local priests were jealous of their family, so he should go to the Shravasti to learn from a priest named Indradat, a friend of his father. Kapil set out to Shravasti, whether Indradat agreed to teach him but couldn't provide for him. A rich man named Dhan offered to take care of Kapil's food and needs, and a female servant was assigned to help him. Over time, Kapil fell in love with the servant. One day, she complained that while other girls received gifts from their rich lovers during festival, she had nothing because Kapil was poor. To make her happy, Kapil decided to go to a rich man who gave out golden coins to early visitors. However, when Kapil tried to reach the man's house early, he was caught walking in the night and put in a jail. In jail, Kapil deeply regretted his actions and remembered his mother's hopes for him. The next day, he was brought before Kapil, King Prasannajit. The king saw Kapil's innocence and after hearing his story, offered to grant him any wish. Kapil asked for time to think. He sat under a bargat tree, thinking about what to ask for. He thought asking for 2, 4, 8, 32 and soon jumped to ask half the kingdom. He got more greedy and then considered asking for the whole kingdom. Thinking more and more and more, suddenly he felt a jolt of realization. What I am doing? I am trying to take advantage of someone who is willing to give me anything I want. He started to reflect on his thoughts and what was happening within him. As Kapil thought more deeply, he began to understand his true feelings. He attained Jati Smaran Gyan, a level of knowledge where one can see their past life. Seeing his past life, he came to know that he was a monk in his previous birth with 500 other fellow monks. He saw his previous life and decided to quit everything and move towards his inner journey. With this knowledge, Kapil returned to the king and told him that he no longer wanted anything. He had found his true path and wanted to continue his spiritual journey. Kapil spent the next 6 months meditating and finally achieved enlightenment. However, he remembered the vow he made with his companion from his past life. He discovered that all 500 of them had become bandits and decided to set out to find them and fulfill his promise. Gurudev says, hearing this, let us all sitting here today make a mutual promise to agree that whether in this life or the next, when anyone among us would achieve divinity, we would come looking for the others to grant them the blessings of enlightenment. Kapil walked and entered a forest. As Kapil entered, he was captured by the bandit guards, who demanded to know what he had. Kapil replied that he had nothing. They took him to their boss, who sensed a connection from their past lives. Kapil said, I have nothing material, but as a yogi, I can sing. Those who have nothing to give materially can still offer spiritual blessings. Kapil started singing a song. What Kapil sang to them are the words described in the 8th chapter of Uttaradhyayana Sutra, Kavilyam. As he sang, all the thieves began to repeat his words, and by the end of the song, they all attained enlightenment. All 500 of them became enlightened beings. He began singing, Adhuve asasayami sansarami dukkha pauraye kim namohojjatam kammayam jenaham duggaim nagaccheja. In this verse, he urges his friends to question oneself. Which is the knowledge? Which is the spiritual practice? What is that attitude that will lead them to a pure state, free them from all sorrows of the world? The 500 robbers started singing in joy, asking these questions to themselves. In the journey of introspection, Kapil kept giving them step by step spiritual practices and kept motivating them. As questions kept flowing, Kapil continued to give insights into the possible answers. He said, don't try to be authoritative to those who try to authoriate you. We all do this. We become authoritative to people around us by saying that it's the love that we have for them. That is what King Dashrath, Kekai, Dhritarashtra, Bhishma Pitapaha, all of them did. Being non-authoritative is a quality which Sri Ram and Sri Krishna had followed. And this is what Prabhu Mahaveer is talking about. Only individuals who have lifted themselves from attachment, doubts, and confusion can be non-authoritative. Moving forward, Kapil says that the complexities and the knots within us give rise to conflicts and fights. These knots within us are the root cause of all fights. Those who free themselves of these knots do not get attached anywhere, and those who do not free themselves of these knots get cling to the worldly pleasure and attachment, and they can never free themselves from the sorrows of the world. Such people lose the capacity to judge what is beneficial, what is harmful for them. Their mind starts running in the positive direction, like how Duryodhana rejected Krishna's proposal of giving 5 villages to the Pandavas and ultimately landed in the war of Mahabharata, losing everything he had. Gurudev tells, the outside attractions are like when a buzzing fly finds a fresh flame, gets attracted to the sweetness and sit on it to absorb the sweetness. But soon it realizes that it can't move from there as it has got stuck to the flame. Such is the situation when an individual gets carried away with temptations. Gurudev says, most of them take small peg of alcohol, but soon the alcohol takes control on them, and eventually there is no way for him to come out, just like the situation of the fly. Once we get into these kind of habits, it becomes very difficult to come out of these. Those individuals who lack patience and self-control can never come out of these habits. But people who have developed good habits in their lives have better chances of breaking through them and ending their sorrows. Kapil is telling the robbers that many a times we might see some monks in the jungle who kill other living beings to live their life, and seeing these the robbers might also feel that killing living beings is okay. But Kapil says that such sins and their doing are wrong, and that is will lead them to hell. It is not at all possible that killing living organisms will lead you to spirituality, when it is considered to such extent that even appreciating someone who is killing other being is wrong. Kapil says that people who do not commit violence and do not appreciate those who do violence will stay aloof from getting attached to the wrongdoings, even though the vibration of the wrongdoings might pass by them. Just like the water of the rain falls on the peak of the mountain, but it does not stay on the peak, it just flows down. To such people, even though bad thoughts do come, their thoughts don't get converted into actions. The robbers observe that there are people who teach astrology, mantras, and tantra. Kapil clearly states that they may be astrologers, there may be practitioners of mantras or tantra, but they cannot be tusrikas, shamans, or saints. These people, instead of awakening others' minds regarding the principle of karma and dharma, entangle them in astrology instead of making people realize the cause behind the problems and putting the responsibility of overcoming them on ourselves. Then try to shift the cause and responsibility on the planets. This habit of placing responsibility on others keeps us entangled and never allows us to look within us. Kapil shares his experience that no matter how much you steal, you will never feel satisfied. How much ever we gather from the outside, the emptiness inside us will never be filled. Kapil says that if all the wealth in the world were given to one person, he would still not find peace. Even after becoming an emperor and gaining a vast kingdom, many emperors like Brahmadatta still do not feel content and or at peace. Kapil shares his experience of how he came as a student to learn and ended up in a greed of gold and kingdom, and later how his self-questioning within himself led to his self-realization and becoming enlightened. Kapil tells all his companions never to get attached. Only those who do not get attached can truly worship the special path and attain self-realization. While listening to this beautiful teaching, each one was absorbed in the knowledge and moved toward attaining enlightenment. Gurudev requests everyone to memorize the first verse and make it your mantra. Adhuveya sasayam me sansaram me dukkha pauraye kim na mohojjatam kammayam jenaham dukkhaim na gaccheja. Before doing any action or taking any decision, do remember this verse. In this world filled with constant suffering, think about that. What decision or behavior can prevent my downfall? What deeds and actions can secure myself from these worldly attractions? Let these thoughts stay in your mind. Now we will see Adhyayan 9. Namo Suyadevayaye Namo Suyadevayaye Namo Suyadevayaye. Moving to the 9th chapter titled Nami Pavajja, which speaks about how King Nami walked the path of liberation, leaving all worldly pleasures. Before we unleash the secrets of the chapter, let's understand the story of King Nami's birth. In a distant land, a couple named Madan Rekha and Yugabahu deeply love each other. However, Yugabahu's brother Manirath secretly desired Madan Rekha and was jealous of their love. Although Madan Rekha knew of Manirath's feelings, she chose not to tell Yugabahu, hoping to maintain peace. Ignoring Madan Rekha's rejection, Manirath, consumed by obsession, believed that he could never win her heart while Yugabahu lived. Driven by jealousy, Manirath tricked Yugabahu into going to a forest and attacked him. Yugabahu was gravely wounded, but even in such a difficult moment, Madan Rekha guided Yugabahu to not react with anger and instead asked him to embrace forgiveness. She was pregnant at that time. Madan Rekha fled into the forest to protect her unborn child from Manirath. She later gave birth to a son. On that day, Padmarath, the king of Mithila, who longed for a child, found the baby alone in the forest. Madan Rekha, who had gone to wash clothes, saw the king caring for her son and decided not to reveal herself, hoping her child would find a loving father in the royal family. The king raised Nami as his own son in Mithila. As Nami grew up, he struggled with inner conflict caused by the trauma of his father's death, separation from his mother, and the difficult circumstances of his birth. This emotional turmoil manifested physically and causing a burning sensation throughout his body that no treatment could fully relieve. The queens ground sandalwood to cool his skin, but the relief was temporary. One day, Nami was disturbed by the sound of bangles from the grinding of paste done by his queens. Seeing the king disturbed, the queens removed all their bangles and kept one. When the king asked the minister about it, the minister explained that the queens wore only one bangle each to grind the sandalwood quietly. As one bangle makes no sound, this made Mani reflect on his inner conflict. He realized that his unrest was due to having too many bangles inside too many attachments and distractions. Nami began to focus on uniting his mind, repeating, I am one, I am one, I am one, I am one, to free himself from inner turmoil. As he let go of his emotional attachments, clarity and peace emerged. He attained Jati Smaran Gyan, recalling his past spiritual practices. With this spiritual awakening, Nami decided to renounce the world, crown his son as king, and embrace a life of meditation and self-discipline, that is Sanyam. Mithila loved its king very much. When they heard about Nami's resolution to renounce the world and become a monk, there was chaos, sadness, and cry throughout the city. Indra, the king of celestial beings, observed that Nami wanted to renounce the worldly pleasures, but felt that Nami had made a decision when he was troubled and anxious. If he were initiated while feeling this way, he wouldn't be able to progress too far on the spiritual path. Thus Indra appeared in the guise of Brahman, tempting Nami to delay his decision to renounce the world. This chapter contains the question of Indra and the answer given by Nami. Indra god tells, Nami, your city was always happy. Why do I hear cries of distress and compassion here today? What is the reason? Nami doesn't say that he is taking initiation and so people are troubled. He instead answers very wisely, giving an example. He says, a storm came, and in that storm, a very big tree was uprooted. This tree was a shelter for many people, a refuge for many. Because the tree fell, the birds became sad and had to leave their shelter. He says, when a tree falls, the birds that live in it may cry for a while, but after some time, they find another tree to sit on. So will the people, like the birds of the tree, find another shelter and soon be fine. Listening to this reply, Indra god realized that those who have understood this ultimate truth will find happiness by going to another refuge. Indra god now puts forth another powerful question. He says, why don't you look at the burning palace? Why don't you see the one you love? Your queens are burning in the fire of sorrow and separation. Why don't you go back, spend some time, and then bid them bye? Nami says, I have left them all. Nothing is being burned because of me. I will not look back on what I have left. Nami reveals a big secret to success in life is whenever you move forward, never look back. Those who look back after taking a step forward can never move ahead. Those who keep their paths open to retreat can never reach their destination. Nami had cut off all paths of retreat. He had closed them. He had given up everything. Indra was amazed and realized even the ones he loved could not disturb him. Now Indra awakens his ego and says, You are a king and you ought to protect the city and make it good. Build a strong wall. Create a good foundation before you leave. Nami answers, Outer city does not matter. One should create an inner city for self-reflection. One should build a city of faith within oneself. This city should have a kingdom of devotion and it should be protected with penance and discipline. I have closed the doors so that no one can from outside can open it, and I have shut it from within as well. I have built a wall of forgiveness around me. This wall protects my mind, speech, and actions. Those who have the arrows of penance and are ready to end their actions do not have to fight. If there is a city of faith with strong discipline, there is no need to fight. They transcend the struggle without combat. Indra then tell him, Okay, but there are many criminals in your city. Why don't you punish those criminals first? Nami answers that he has moved beyond the need for punishment. Criminals often escape punishment, while the innocent are punished. The thugs create chaos and manage to escape, while ordinary citizens suffer the consequences for crimes they did not commit. There is no point punishing, as punishment will not change the mindset of criminals. Indra again triggers his ego and tells, Many kings do not respect you. Just once, bring them under your control, establish your authority over them, and then go and initiate to monkhood. The answer given by Nami can be applied by each of us. He says, No matter how many others you conquer, if you don't conquer yourself, your victories mean nothing. Instead of fighting with others, look at the inner flaws and weakness. Those who conquer themselves achieve the ultimate victory and are always happy. Gurudev gives examples and says Ram sent Sita to the forest, but he couldn't make her unhappy. Kaikeyi sent Ram into exile, but she couldn't make him unhappy. The key is simple. Since Ram and Sita conquered themselves, their circumstances could not cause them any sorrow. Indra God then offers a strong religious motivation. He says, Why don't you conduct grand yagnas, sacred ritual, offer food to others, feed the Brahmins, and earn some punya? Enjoy your life and then walk the path of initiation. Nami responds, that this makes no sense anymore. And he tells it's more important to help someone become self-disciplined than to just give food. If a person becomes self-disciplined, the other person's well-being will happen without giving anything. No matter how much we give, there is no end and will not help them grow. Indra then tells, while living a household life, you can practice religion being there, meditate, perform penance, and achieve peace. Then why takes initiation? Nami says, without practicing righteous self-control, samyak sayyam, righteous conduct, samyak character, righteous faith, samyak shraddha, no matter how much penance or meditation we do, they could probably help us earn punya but will not lead one to attain liberation. Indra god then tells him, for the security of all, why don't you accumulate a little more wealth and then live? Nami responded that no matter how much you accumulate, this infinite greed, like the sky, can never satisfy. Indra finally questions, when you are living all the pleasures here to reach heaven and enjoy the pleasures there, then why are you living what you already possesses? Nami replied that the question is not about worldly or heavenly pleasures. Both are like poison. In fact, the poison in heavenly pleasure is so strong that gods in heaven, under its influence, accumulate so much sin that they are reborn as one sense organ called ekindriya. They descend down so much that even hell being after their birth are not born as one sense organ. Nami firmly states that pleasures, be it anywhere, doesn't matter, they only pull you down. Nami explains that one should win over themselves, take control of their inner enemies. He says, anger leads to a downwards path, pride leads to a lower state, and illusion, cheat, causes obstacles in progress. Greed brings fear from both sides. Winning over them is the ultimate path to liberation. Hearing this, Indra realized the truth, appeared in his original form, and bowed down to Nami in respect. Here the 9th chapter is completed. Let us all form the teaching of Paramatma and Gurudev take back these two things today. In chapter 8 on Kapil and his 500 friends gives a message to make such a friends who will guide you on to the right path when you deviate. And Gurudev tells like Kapil, always question yourself that thoughts, deeds and actions can help me come out from this world full of sorrows. And the dialogue between Indra and Nami in 9th chapter tells us that outside world, no matter what we do, how much we acquire, can never give us satisfaction. Let's learn to travel within and find real peace and contentment. I conclude today's session. Thank you so much. We will meet again tomorrow with some secrets decoded by Gurudev Praveen Rishi Ji Maharaj Sahib. Have a Arham day. Thank you so much. Mangal Pad.
Mangalam Arihanta Mangalam Siddha Mangalam Sahu चत्तारि लघुत्तमानि हन्ता लघुत्तमां सिद्धा लघुत्तमां साभो लघुत्तमां केवली पन्नतो धम्मो लघुत्तमां चत्तारि शरणं भवञ्झामि हरिहन्ते शरणं भवञ्झामि सिद्धे शरणं भवञ्झामि साधो शरणं भवञ्झामि केवली पन्नतं धम्मं शरणं भवञ्झामि अरिहन्तो का शरणं सिद्धों का शरण साधुओं का शरण दया धर्म का शरण चार मंगल चार उत्तम चार शरण दुख हरण सुख करना और न शरणा कोई जो भवभ्राणी करे आराधन अक्षय अमर पद होय वर्धमान शरण